but to tell you what I got at my Magnus the Red commented on your post. At Brent's order about 30 minutes ago, that would have been about 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, okay? The transportation crew have attempted a small trial of using replicators to send food to a select area in rural West Virginia. They ran into an issue where the food sent through transporter technology would briefly materialize at the destination and then the food would disappear. Scanners were angled at the area and we discovered a temporal anomaly. That means like a break in the fabric of space-time. We believe that someone was using interdimensional portals to snatch the food away when it gets to its destination via transporter technology. However, after a few minutes, the food reappeared. We are anticipating some kind of interference and we do not know what the purpose of returning the food was just yet. Also, I'm using my Gail shield to protect us in our efforts to feed the hungry. Gail shield, protect my supporters, healing to my supporters, and help us to give them the food they need. We are anticipating some kind of interference and we do not know what the purpose of returning the food was just yet. Also, if you have heard rumors about compassion centers, this is fake news. We have no plans to open compassion centers. One has appeared in Frisco, Texas, and is unaffiliated with us despite Church of Gail branding. We assume that this is a Jesuit propaganda effort, but we haven't been able to confirm this yet. It could be brain control too. I told them to make sure that the returned food was safe to eat, that it didn't have brain control drugs in it. I'm just offering suggestions because I am not there on the scene and I'm not able to get the latest intelligence. So I'm another thing you can do is, like when I was problem solving with my computers, I would ask AI questions, and it was pretty helpful in helping me brainstorm solutions to my problems. Yeah. Though you have to be careful, though, because I think the automatons are interfering with AI, but some of the suggestions were helpful, and they helped me to figure out how to solve my computer problems in September. Like I said, some of the suggestions were bad, so you kind of have to, you can't totally depend on AI, but you can use that as part of your brainstorming, problem-solving effort to try to figure solutions. I'd say we all need to stay calm and balanced, and as we carry this out. If this doesn't work, we could try the old-fashioned method of food banks. Just flood the food banks with food, okay? We could try that. Another option, I had suggested to Brent that we could declare that the senators who are blocking, the Democratic senators who are refusing to, and some Republican from what I hear, to pass the funding for the government, we could declare them legally insane, because they're all under, if they're brain control victims, which I suspect they are, we could declare them legally insane and replace them with and tell them that we can only have sane, we cannot allow representatives and senators to act in office if they are legally insane. In that case, Brent would be allowed to use the power of the executive branch to make the decisions. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they're all insane, of course, he may want to keep it low-key and not advertise that he's doing this, because then there could be a bunch of people getting all upset saying, oh no, we got a king, a dictator over us, But what you could do, another thing you could do is just go ahead and we could just lie We could put a news report out and say, no, we wouldn't have to lie. Okay, we could declare first of all, determine which senators and representatives are under brain control. And if that influenced them in their decision, we declare them legally insane. That means they can go ahead and vote, and their vote just isn't going to count. So we could do a recount, okay, with the ones that are not under brain control, and I bet it would pass, and we could get the government funded. That's another thing we could do. So what we could do is we could declare that any senator or representative under brain control is legally insane and not qualified for office. And if we're only left with 5, okay, that doesn't matter, okay? If they're legally insane, they're not qualified to be in office, right? They're unfit for office. So then we'll do a recount, okay? And I'm pretty sure that once we get these senators out from under brain control, that they're going to decide to fund the government, okay? And then we can get the government funded. And then we'll report on Gabriel on Fox News that the Congress met again, and they decided to fund the government. And we'll just go ahead and just send out all the paychecks. We'll send out all the paychecks to all the government people. We will, I mean, you know, the ones that Brent wants to do. We'll put SNAP and WIC back in operation. And if mainstream news wants to say, no, that didn't happen, they didn't pass it, we'll just say fake news, fake news. If you want to watch the real news, go to Gabriel Chana Fox News. Congress we don't have to give them all the details. Well, we can tell them that we declared them legally insane, and of the ones that were not under brain control, we did a revote, and we determined that that we can get the government funded. And yeah, just if they're reporting that the you know, that there was no revote, that's just fake news and don't believe them. And then we'll just go ahead and fund the government. Yeah, that's another thing we could do. Yeah, we have several options. But because everybody's under so much brain control, we probably need to have several angles where we can go, okay, just to make sure people get their food, you know? Yeah, there's just so much brain control. So if we can feed the population, but what we could do then is then they're probably going to mess with all the readers, you know, and mess with the mail system. Yeah, any government worker, this would include postal workers, FedEx, and everything that's under brain control, they're not fit to work. Yeah, we could, I don't know, but if we have to, we could use our military to, I don't know. I'm just giving you some options, okay? I'm not telling you that what I'm suggesting is right, but we have, you know, we're dealing with a very tricky enemy, and maybe we could use more than one method. We could use the replicators in combo with a revote in Congress with those who are not legally insane, and then try to push it through that way, and then just flood, and then just at Gabriel Chana Fox News say a revote has been cast, and your card should now be funded. Okay? Yeah, that's it. And then if anybody's reporting otherwise, it's fake news. Yeah, fake news. Yeah, and if anybody tries to interfere with the funding of the cards, we can arrest them for if they're doing it willingly and knowingly. We can arrest them as a war criminal or something like that. Okay, I'm just giving you some options. I mean, nothing here is set in stone. We're dealing with a very tricky enemy, but we definitely do not want to let them. We don't want to let the people starve. Anyways, just, you know, stuff to think about. Take it or leave it advice. Yeah, we're trying to prevent a civil war, and we're trying to make sure people don't go hungry. Okay? I mean, remember that no matter what we decide to do, we need to be completely just in our decisions. Like if we have to execute anybody, we only take out willing and knowing brain control supporters. Okay? But if that's what we have to do to make sure people get fed, we will do that. Remember, the Gail Shield's going to, Brent and I are kind of acting in Jesus' place. And God the Father is observing all this, okay? If we try to solve this in an unjust manner, the Gail shield is going to fall. So just keep that in mind, and then we all lose, okay? They're trying to trick us into being wicked in the way we solve this problem. We can't fall for that. So remember, as we strive for solutions, make sure we make just decisions based on the facts, not based on panic, not based on anger. We need to stay cool, calm, collected. And ask ourselves, what would Jesus do if he was here? Okay? What would he do? That should be the basis for our decision. Anyways, I'm going to get going with my day. I'm going to see if I can get some work done on the Gail series today. Jesus does not like killing people. I already know that about him. Okay? So ask yourself, Brent, what would Jesus do? That will help you make the right decision. I do believe that what he wants to do is he's trying to use Brent in his place to set up the millennial reign that he should have done, and that he screwed up big time because he used me as a sex dummy. But he cannot come here to help us right now. Because basically he lost his free, like I explained in an earlier video, he lost his free love argument. But he has faith in Brent, and so do I. My husband is very resourceful, he's very smart, and he's the most Christ-like human that Jesus ever created. I have faith in Brent. But Brent, I'm just offering you take it or leave it advice. Do your homework, okay? Use your high intelligence. And don't be afraid to use AI to brainstorm, understanding that the automatons are probably going to mess with it to try to get you to make bad decisions. And make sure that when you use it that there's no brain control stuff in there to mess with your brain. But I've been using AI to help me brainstorm. Sometimes I can tell the advice is crappy and I just ignore it. So we have to use our own brain, but that's like using a resource. So yeah, I have faith in you, Brent. I think both you and I are getting pretty smart. We are, I think, even with the automatons in intelligence right now. And we cannot afford to let them win. Anyways, I'm going to get going.
In a world of secrets, where darkness reigns, there's a warrior rising.